The bangs from hell. Hi everyone, it's me, Darlene. I am back with 5 more random facts that you never need to know about me. If you don't know about this series, there is a link to the playlist down below, and you can get caught up by starting way back at boring fact number 1, all the way through 85. We are doing 86 through 90 tonight. That means we are almost done this series, and I do think I will come up with a different series and not continue this one past 100 because I don't know any more stuff that I can tell you. I'm not that exciting. And that's quite obvious by the facts that I spit out. So let's just jump right to it. Oh, 60 minutes and 3 hours on the card. I can talk all night. But I won't. I'll spare you. I'll spare you that. Okay, number 86. I got a skateboard when I was 5 years old. I don't even know if that's when they started to become popular. I don't know why I got one. I don't remember wanting one or even knowing what they were. But it is still somewhere in the garage. It was red and it was wooden and it had metal wheels. And I played with that in the house for years. I just loved it. We had a very open house and I could just use my skateboard and roll around. I also used it in the driveway. I did try to use it coming down the hill. I got very good at, we live like on a dead end and there's a hill, and I got quite good at like sitting on it, and I could sit on it and balance, and so it was just fun. And then later, as I grew up and did not want to play with my skateboard anymore, my father used it for years, and that's why I know it's still in the garage. He used to use big barrels that he used to get from somewhere, and we used to put our garbage in there, and so it was heavy to bring to the side of the road for a trash pickup. And he used to use the skateboard and just put the barrel on the skateboard, and I could hear him going, you know, I could always hear that sound. I knew he was taking the trash out because he used my skateboard to move the barrels. Somewhere I have my skateboard. I'd like to know like how much they paid for that. You know, it's like, gee whiz, I am so sick of my hair, and I have a fan blowing and it's making some little wispies tickle my eyelashes. Do not like that. I have a weird thing about some kind of sensory thing going on. I don't like floaties around my face. Oh my God. Number 87. Boring. First time I flew in a plane, I was 7. We went to Florida. My sister was living in Florida at the time. She went to Florida right out of high school, and I went with my mother and my grandmother, and we stayed for an entire month. We had a month vacation in Florida, and I remember enjoying it. We went to the Boston airport to get on the plane, and in those days you walked outside on the tarmac to get to the plane. Well, I don't know if that part's called the tarmac or if that's just the runway. But anyway, there were no gates to go through, whatever. You just went outside, and the wind blew your dress in the air, and we were all dressed up. In those days, people dressed up to go on a plane. Women were all dressed pretty. Men had suits, and now it's like, you know, sweatpants and flip-flops. But anyway, we were all dressed up, and we got to the plane, and they said that the plane was full and that we couldn't get on, and we were scared. My mother did not know what to do. I remember my father and my grandfather had brought us to the airport. Well, what we didn't know is they had gone to watch us take off from somewhere, so they were still in the airport, and they saw that we were refused. We just had to go back in the airport. How bizarre. And I remember my mother putting me with my grandmother and saying, you sit right here. I don't want you guys to move. And she says, I'm going to go see if I can find your father. And so she was running through the airport, and she did find him because they realized something was wrong, so they were on their way back. I know we had to end up taking another flight. They put us on another flight that landed in Fort Lauderdale, and we got a limousine ride in an actual limousine from airport to Miami, which is where we were going. So, I don't know. Might have been interesting. Did you think so? And yeah, we were in Miami for a whole month. Okay, number 88. This is back to my naughty girl days. I, for some reason, and I really can't remember exactly why, totally disliked an English teacher that I had in my sophomore year of high school. And I know it was the last class that I had for the day. And I know that for the entire last quarter, I never went to that class. I would get detention every day for skipping class. Now, my mother even knew I wasn't going because my mother used to come and pick me up from school, and I told her I don't like that class. My mother was weird in ways. It's like she didn't want me to do certain things, but then other things I was so free to do, like just say, I've decided I'm not going to English class anymore. Okay, I'll pick you up an hour earlier. And it was like, what? So she used to pick me up from school, and I used to get home earlier, which I liked because I could do my homework. And since I was not against detention. I liked detention because it meant I could knock off some of my homework and not have an extra book to carry home. But since it was last period and my mother would come and pick me up, I wasn't about to have her bring me back to school to go to detention. So my detention kept building and building and building and building. And that summer, I spent almost the entire summer making up that detention. They had summer detention, and my mother would bring me, and I made an entire king-size Afghan while going to detention. I wasn't alone. There were a few other people there, and we just sat in this nice big room, and I crocheted, and I just enjoyed myself. And then I remember toward the end, the teachers were like tired of having to babysit us, and nobody wanted to be doing that. So there was a time that for every hour we spent, it counted for 2. They like doubled up and whatever, but yeah. And then that English teacher passed me, and I was like, that seems normal then. But I look back and I say, why did that English teacher pass me when, a passing grade, when I completely never went to a whole quarter of English? And now I remember, it's because he knew that I knew something about him that would not be good for anybody to know. It was never discussed. I remember him knowing or finding out somehow who my boyfriend was, and there was something between him and some boys that got done that shouldn't have, and I bet that's why. He was probably afraid if he said anything that I could tell, because he probably figured my boyfriend told me what was going on. See? Very sneaky. I'm not telling you. It involved drinking with a teacher. So anyway, that wasn't good. But I guess that's why he passed me. And I still have the Afghan that I made during my summer detention. Okay, number 89. When I was a little girl in this house that I have lived in almost my whole life, with the few exceptions of being on my own, which was I was hardly ever on my own. I have no life. We had some old coins that my father had, very old coins that he had collected, and I used to know where they were, and I wanted to play like secret treasure, and I remember taking some of those coins and hiding them in various places in this house. No clue where they would be. I think I vaguely remember one of the bedrooms upstairs, like behind the door, there was a crack, and I think I might have stuck a coin in there. And then maybe in a closet somewhere up by, there's like an attic door, and I might have stuck one up there. Whoever gets this house next, if they ever really go through it, there's probably, I'd say like maybe 10 or 15 very old coins tucked away in certain parts of this house. Now, number 90, last but not least. I don't know if there's any, like, pretty way to say this. I am a toilet paper hog. This has nothing to do with the amount of toilet paper I need. It just has to do with the amount of toilet paper I want. I swear, when I was a kid and my father would always say, you use too much toilet paper. Now, first of all, there was a money concern because toilet paper costs money. The other thing is we have a septic tank. We're not on town sewer, so septic tanks get filled. Now, there's only me and my mother here now, so that's not an issue and hasn't been for a long time, but when you're raising a big family and everybody's throwing toilet paper and stuff in the toilet, the septic tank has to be pumped out. So he used to always complain about me using too much toilet paper, and I always thought when I get older, I'm just going to use all the toilet paper I want and not have to worry about it. And boy, do I. I'm the kind of person that will just like pull that and let it unroll and make a big pile and bunch it all up and, wrap it around my hand. I don't know. I just like a lot of toilet paper, and I can go through it like water because I'm always going to the bathroom because I'm drinking water constantly. So I know you don't need to know about my toilet paper obsession, but I am very curious to know because my father, men only use toilet paper for one reason, and he would be like 2 squares. I'm like, Dad, because I took care of him when he was older. And he's like, I just need 2 squares. I'm like, 2 squares? You need more than that just to blow your nose. It's like, oh my God, my father. I think I'm going to have to cut this part out. But it just cracks me up. My father was a very funny man, and I remember when my sister was taking care of him at one point, my mother and I had gone somewhere, and she had him, and she was like, Darlene, she says, he gets mad if I want to use more toilet paper. And I was like, I know all about it. So anyway, and then I worry, if I ever used to go to the bathroom someplace and there's no toilet paper and I have to ask the person next door, it's like they, oh, here, and they give you a little piece like that. It's like, can I have the roll, please? Oh my goodness. So yeah, I go through a lot of toilet paper. Just do. And even if I have to blow my nose, I'll use toilet paper to just take this gigantic amount of toilet paper and throw it all away. It's a complete waste. It's a waste. It's very wasteful. All right. I hope you enjoyed these facts. Let me know if you're a hand wrapper or just a square counter when it comes to toilet paper. And did you ever go to detention? See how many hours. I beat everybody with how many hours I spent in detention. I didn't even hate it. Like I said, I liked detention. I could do my homework. And summer detention, crocheting, that was pretty cool. All right, I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.